Well, no, I met my man that I'm dating now.
Frustrating to learn that Anthony was living in the apartment. Like, first of all, I don't like you, and like also like you're in my living space. Like, there'll be none of that.
EJ and Elisa's fight over Anthony started as a family drama, but it turned into something way deeper than just a messy relationship. Because this wasn't only about Elisa dating someone EJ didn't like. This was about betrayal, old feelings, a kiss in France that Elisa refused to believe, and a brother who felt like his own sister chose Anthony over him. And the wild part is, Elisa defended Anthony, fought for Anthony, and even made EJ feel like he was the problem, only for that same relationship to fall apart. And suddenly, Elisa started seeing the same red flags EJ had been talking about the whole time. Now the question is, was EJ being dramatic, or did Elisa ignore the truth until Anthony finally turned that same behavior on her? The trouble didn't start in New York. It started in the south of France when EJ Johnson met Anthony. EJ remembers the corner where Anthony stood, remembers watching him talk to someone else, remembers the particular humiliation of being led on by a man.
Oh yeah, he's like living.
Yeah, on someone else's couch.
He's living on your couch?
So Lisa's currently living in the family's apartment in New York, and it was very frustrating to learn that Anthony was living in the apartment.
What EJ didn't know was that 6 months later, this same man would be living on his couch in New York. Not because Anthony had any particular attachment to EJ, but because Anthony had found someone better, someone with the same last name, someone who happened to be EJ's little sister, Elisa. One comment read, "There's no way I would date someone my sister or brother talked to." The argument started off small, but after a while, they became impossible to control. EJ would take shots at Anthony during conversations, dropping comments here and there, like she couldn't help herself. And part of that came from the fact that she had developed real feelings for Anthony. He was a model now, signed in New York, Paris, Milan, and London. The kind of man who looked good in photos and knew exactly what to say. But for EJ, it wasn't just about how Anthony looked or how charming he was. It was about the history between them, a history Anthony refused to fully acknowledge, and a history Elisa refused to see. According to EJ, Anthony had kissed him on the lips while they were in France, but Elisa didn't believe that at all. And the fight that followed wasn't really just about a kiss. It was about the 6 months EJ had spent trying to heal his pride while Anthony moved through their lives like nothing had happened. It was about Elisa hearing how hurt EJ was and responding like 6 months was long enough to get over it. And more than anything, EJ felt betrayed that his own sister didn't have his back when it came to Anthony. To him, Elisa had chosen someone he couldn't stand, without even fully accepting what Anthony had allegedly done.
I'm over it.
But Elisa heard something different. She heard her brother basically saying she had failed him, that she had chosen a man over family, that she looked at Anthony's face and saw a chance at something, while EJ only saw someone who knew exactly how to use people. Later, EJ admitted that he had lost trust in Elisa, saying, why would he trust somebody who would just blatantly ignore his feelings? And the apartment turned into a war zone. Anthony was living there in EJ's space, while EJ was expected to act normal and pretend he was happy for his sister who never really stopped to ask if he was still hurt. But Elisa saw it differently. To her, EJ was always throwing little shots, refusing to let the past stay in the past, and making her feel like she had to choose between her brother and her boyfriend. At Elisa's 21st birthday party, which was supposed to be her big night, he found her in the bathroom with her ex-boyfriend, DJ. Elisa said they were just talking, catching up somewhere quiet, but when Anthony walked in and saw them together, something in him changed immediately. Elisa tried to explain herself, but by then, Anthony was over it. And Elisa finally reached her breaking point too. She told him she was done. The breakup should have been the end of the story, but it wasn't. After everything fell apart, Elisa did something that looked like exposure, but felt a lot like revenge. She started talking, not just to EJ, but to their mother, their friends, and basically anyone who was willing to listen. She talked about Anthony's jealousy, his insecurity, and the way he made her feel like she had to choose, only to punish her when he didn't like her choice. And this is when she started looking back at the France trip. From her side, Anthony had flirted with EJ a lot, and now that she was hurt, she was starting to see things she may have ignored before. This was the same man she had dated, defended, and fought her own brother over, and now she was the one warning people to be careful around him. The sister who once tried to protect her happiness, even if it came at EJ's expense, was now the same sister admitting that that happiness may have been empty the whole time. Blood as their mother reminded them, was thicker than water, thicker than Anthony, thicker than the particular betrayal of choosing poorly and having to live with the choice. Once Anthony moved out of the apartment, they didn't talk about Anthony much after that. Elisa had exposed him, but she'd also exposed herself. Her willingness to ignore warning signs, her need to be loved, even at her brother's expense. One person even said EJ was seen only trying to protect her sister from a down-low man. I believe Anthony kissed EJ and is down low. Another one asked, why would she want someone who wanted her brother? She's definitely the type that would date her friends' exes. The south of France became the kind of place neither of them talked about much anymore. For EJ, it was where trust first cracked. For Elisa, it was where she confused a beautiful moment for something built to last. What began as a vacation romance had turned into months of tension, arguments, and impossible choices. A man who had once seemed worth fighting for had somehow become the reason a brother and sister could barely look at each other without reopening old wounds. But what do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.